I also taught conducting, and I coached chamber music, and co-taught with my woodwind department colleagues in teaching woodwind techniques. After I retired, I joined the New Horizons International Adult Music Education or Music group, and started working with clarinet choir with senior citizens. And I've been doing that now for 16 years. And for 8 of those years, I also conducted the New Horizons Band. And the topic of this afternoon's tutorial is the natural effects, not injuries, but the natural effects of aging on our clarinet playing. And so I've noticed most seniors who participate in music, particularly instrumental music, seem to suffer from one or maybe two or maybe all of 3 things. One, some have trouble seeing, some have trouble hearing, and some have pain. And some have all of those. And these are natural byproducts of getting older. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate on 3, and if we have time, concentrate on a 4th thing. I want to talk about eyes, hands, and ears. So I'm going to talk about each one of these things, and then I'd really like to open up for some questions. We have 35 or 40 minutes, and so I'm going to quickly go through these 3 areas that I outlined, and I would be, very, very open to any questions you might have, personal experiences, personal observations, anyway, some kind of a dialogue. Eyes. One of the things that I noticed, and I actually have been experiencing issues with all 3 of the things that I've mentioned. Our eyes, as we age, naturally are beginning to dry out. So a simple conversation with your eye doctor, or when you're having an eye exam, just begin a conversation about this. And usually there are over-the-counter eye drops that could be helpful, or perhaps something, if it's a more complicated issue, something that could be prescribed. But when eyes are dry, sometimes tracking from left to right as we read music. Sometimes our eyes lock as we sometimes change from one line to another. I've had this kind of experience before, and it usually happens at the worst possible time when I'm playing. We also need to be sensitive to and aware of lighting, particularly in practice area where we're rehearsing and where we're performing. And because many times the rooms that, particularly with New Horizons, we usually rehearse in churches, and churches were never designed as performance space. So the lighting isn't particularly all that great. So I've always thought it was handy to have a stand light, some kind of a stand light that's portable, that's small, and all you need to do is go to a Google search and write in music stand lights, and you'll encounter almost countless different designs and different sizes, different intensity of lights. You can get the rabbit ears, you can get the bars of lighting, all kinds, and any kind of lighting that would suit the particular situation you're in. The other thing, and let me put my music reading glasses on, and that would be music reading glasses. This became a problem to me nearly 20 years ago, and I'm 77 now. And I consulted my eye doctor, and I said, I don't want reading glasses because I hold a book a lot closer to me than my music is. And he suggested probably keep a music stand just about arm's length. Okay, so next time I saw my eye doctor for a checkup, I said, I'm going to need some music reading glasses, and I want you to test my vision out this far. And he got a ruler out and he measured that, and we did an eye exam. And from that point on, I actually, it was almost like an epiphany to me to get that kind of help. Normally, and I went to drugstores and looked at the reading magnifying glasses, and for me, absolutely no help. And so for me, getting prescription glasses has been an enormous help. So every time I have my eyes checked, which is, however often I do it, a year or two, it's probably too long, but anyway, that's what I do. I get a new prescription for my music reading glasses. The only problem I have with them is that after a rehearsal, I usually forget to put my regular glasses on, and I find myself driving down driving home with my music reading glasses on, but I'm trying to work on that. Okay. Now, another thing for those of you who are techno savvy, I would strongly suggest the iPad Pro. It is a place where you can download music and use that instead of paper music. This is a very new thing. I'm not into this yet, but very recently my wife did get into it, and she won't ever go back to paper music. She downloads it. The iPad Pro is the largest iPad you can get. It's backlit. You can adjust the lighting. So if you're in a dim room or if you're on a stage that doesn't have very good lighting, you can adjust the lighting. And these are actually starting to be being used in professional pits where it's dark. Most of the Apple products are user friendly, and quite frankly, I'm going to get into this very, very soon because I'm beginning to see the merits of it. And another thing about the iPad Pro is that you can enlarge the music on the screen, which will help a lot. So for that, I would suggest, if you're interested in going in that direction, visit an Apple store and just get some information and advice and see if this could be the right the right option for you. It certainly has been for my wife and for a few other people in the New Horizons Clarinet Choir that I conduct, and they're incredibly high on it. So it's definitely in our future and probably will, take the place of printed music. So that's all I have to say about eyes. And once again, when we get to our Q&A part, if any of you have anything else that you would like to share, that would be the time to do it. The next thing that I want to talk about are our hands. And generally speaking, the biggest problem that we have with hands is arthritis. And this is something that has come into my life probably about 10 years ago. I've been playing the clarinet for at least 60 years professionally, and I've been doing a lot of teaching on the college level, and so it's not an injury again. It is just a part of getting old. And their hands, we use them a lot. Playing the clarinet is a very digital function. In order to play it, we have to cover a lot of tone holes fast, usually not fast enough as the conductors want us to go, so these two fingers now, they used to be straight, but they're curved now. And so what has happened is they bend down, and I am unable to cover on a regular open hole clarinet. I can't cover the top tone hole of either the top or the bottom joint. So my solution is this. It is I've had my clarinet retrofitted with plateau keys, and that includes the back, okay, the thumb tone hole, and all of the tone holes in front. It's a total retrofit, and there are two companies in the world that do this sort of thing. There's the F. Arthur Ubel, and that is spelled U-E-B-E-L. Ubel. U-E-B-E-L. F. Arthur Ubel. And just Google it and start finding out about this. The interesting thing is I went whole hog. I went all the way in and had my entire clarinet retrofitted, because other fingers on both of my hands are starting to get arthritic, and I think eventually all my fingers will, if I live long enough, they'll all be arthritic. But the deal is that if you have needs for, say, only your left hand, you could have those done. If you need just right hand, you can have those done. If you need one plateau key, or maybe 1 and 1, I started with just 1 and 1, and then it started, my hand started to just bloom out. So you can get any combination. You could actually get your foot keys here extended. There are stories about people, and of course this goes into the injury thing where they actually lost a little finger. They can make extensions and have what's left of the finger, take care of these keys. It's amazing what can be done now to accommodate arthritic issues, or even injuries, or things even much more severe. And then the other company, which was the company that I used, is Loaf and Pfeiffer, and that is spelled, if you have pencil and paper handy, Loaf is spelled Lohff, and Pfeiffer, Pfeiffer. Loaf and Pfeiffer. And if you come close to either of those two German names, it'll come up, and you'll find this. They're located in Copenhagen, where I sent my horn, and they retrofitted the keys. They don't retrofit all of the keys, only the plateau keys. And I was a little bit worried that I was going to, be compromised from a technical point of view, but much to my surprise, I don't feel compromised or limited in any way. The key work is unbelievably solid. They're not scrimping on metal or anything. The feel is exactly the same as it was with open holes. And for me, it's been an absolute lifesaver. So this business, and this is not new. This has been actually, some of the first plateau keys were actually done in the very, very early part of the 20th century, like around 1910, 1912, 1913, somewhere in there. You can find antique clarinets all over the place with this. But it's now become a really popular thing to do, and I think it's essential. If we all love to play the clarinet, the whole idea is that we can keep playing for as long as we want to. And so this has been just an amazing, amazing thing for me. Another thing about hands is thumbs. And if you were at one of the other tutorials earlier and heard Mary Druhan talk about her thumb issues, it's just amazing. But the thumb, the right thumb in particular, that you put underneath the thumb rest, really takes a beating. And I started noticing about 25 years ago that my right thumb, I was having trouble getting all the way through recitals because my thumb was starting to give out. So neck strap, okay? And again, Google search and just type in clarinet neck straps. And they're not just refigured saxophone straps. They are absolutely clarinet specific. And there are so many different designs that you'll need to check out the entire array of neck straps. Some are, this is actually, kind of elastic, so it moves with you. Once you get used to a neck strap, you forget all about you have it. It's just so comfortable. But there are some harnesses where you can sort of put it on, clasp it in the middle, and hook onto your clarinets. Very, very comfortable. Just all kinds of neck straps. Take the pressure off that thumb and keep playing. My preferred neck strap is a BG, and BG has a and just if you Google BG clarinet neck straps, it's just going to come right up, and that's my preferred one. I always keep an extra one just in case it breaks. and I'm totally sold on it. And it has, once again, it's enabled me to play longer. How are we doing on time? Uh, I don't know. Okay, now ears. Let's talk about ears.
You're good. You have another almost 15 minutes.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. That's great. Okay, ears. I think it's a good idea to get our ears checked periodically, particularly in our senior years, because I think it's important. The hearing loss is such an incredibly gradual thing that it's just not noticeable. And I've noticed a pronounced hearing loss, I think mainly because conducting so many band rehearsals. So I think it's important to have our ears checked on a regular basis and just see if we have, if we have any issues that we need to be aware of. And if there is a deficiency, there are so many options for hearing aids. The thing that's just amazing about hearing aids is that they've become they come equipped with so many options, so many different settings, and there are hearing aids made specifically for musicians. And it's just, I'm not a medical doctor. I have no medical training at all. So if you feel that there might be a need, it'd be a good idea to check with your doctor and maybe have a hearing exam, see if everything is okay. If not, then see what your options are and check that out. One other thing about ears is protection. Is sometimes if you're playing in a band or maybe an orchestra, the location of where you're sitting might be directly in front of a trombone section, or worse still, a trumpet section. And this is not only undesirable, it's painful. And I routinely, in my clarinet case, carry music earplugs. And the best kind of earplugs you can get are the kind, and by the way, earplugs come in all kinds of styles. And another thing that a lot of people don't know is that earplugs come in different sizes. Okay, and this is very important because our auditory canals are not all the same size. So it's really a good idea to have, to protect your ears in rehearsal and in performance situations. I do a fair amount, or I used to do a fair amount of E-flat soprano clarinet playing. And extended practice of that instrument would be like practicing the piccolo for 2 hours every day. So I used earplugs whenever I practiced E-flat soprano clarinet. So there again, that's another Google search. If you're interested in looking at earplugs for musicians, this is all very specific. There's industrial earplugs, but there's also musical earplugs as well. Okay, now that is pretty much what I what I had hoped to be able to share with you, and I see we have a little bit more time, and so is there anyone who has any questions, any personal experiences, any kind of concerns that you might like to share that I haven't spoken of?
Yes, I have. It
Yes.
seems to me that now that I'm late 80s and almost 90, that air support is a problem.
Ah.
My lungs aren't what they used to be.
Okay. You don't have to be John Atlas to play a clarinet. And one of the things about air, yes, volume is one thing. And one little exercise that I've always found very valuable is what they call stacking a breath. And this is a thing where you breathe in, then you breathe in a little more, then you breathe in a little more, until you gain capacity, and then you release. So you breathe. Then you breathe. Another thing about the inhale is make sure that you keep the lower part of your back loose, so that when we breathe, here's your back and here is your stomach. So when you're breathing, your whole trunk, the whole trunk of your body, front and back, stomach and back, is this will help with volume. Okay. Then, and these are exercises. And if you do these on a regular basis, a little bit every time you practice, maybe even when you're in a rehearsal and the conductor is talking to the trumpets, you could just do a few inhales and exhales, but anything to get that trunk of our torso to take in a little bit more air, that will be helpful. The other part is to support the air by pulling your gut in and then lifting it up a little bit behind your rib cage and getting the air to focus. In other words, think of that air coming up your throat and over your tongue as being about the size and shape of a pencil. Okay, it's why they refer to it as an air column. Okay, and you can, by bringing your corners in, you are also folding your tongue in like this. Okay, and you're making that air column become smaller. And when you make the air column smaller, when you compress it, you're what? You're increasing the speed and the spin of that air, because you want to get that air to be going really fast and spinning like mad the very instant it's hitting that reed. Okay, and that's why, everybody, all the teachers they're climbing all over us. Get those corners in. Okay, there are so many byproducts to that. If you get your corners in, look where your chin goes. Does down, straight, and stretched. So there are a couple of ideas about building up a little bit more volume of air, and then once you get that volume, you've taken that air in, now you can put it through the clarinet with a real purpose and focus that air. I hope that helps.
Yes, thanks.
You're welcome. And yes, air is definitely an issue as we get older. Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. That was excellent. Anything else?
So then where do you get the music from then when you buy the iPro pad?
Okay. Here's the way my wife does it, is that we play in, she and I both play in a clarinet quartet. We both play in a band, in a local band for adult music educators. And when she gets music, she has what is called
the app is Fourscore.
After she got the iPad Pro, she got an app that was called Fourscore. That's the name of the app. And with this app, you're able to download music, and then you can
scan it in with the camera.
Scan it in with the camera that's right on the iPad.
It goes right to the app.
That goes right to the app. And I think we're being prompted to go back to our...
And then do you have to pay for that music?
No. What you do is you get the music and then you take a picture of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
I'm sorry.